Hey everyone, it's Keto Karen. Hope you are having an awesome night. So today I thought I would do a video on carbohydrates. So in a ketogenic lifestyle, we are looking at high healthy fats, low carbohydrates, and moderate proteins. So tonight, this video is going to be looking at carbohydrates, the difference between net carbs and total carbs, and how to calculate and see what works for you. Thanks so much for watching my channel. Truly appreciate it. If you'd like, you can always subscribe below to get more videos, and also you can comment below if there's anything that you'd like to see a video on, or if you found this video helpful, please let me know. Would love to hear from you. So in tonight's video, we are talking about carbohydrates. So in a ketogenic diet or lifestyle, we focus on low carbohydrates. So we are all metabolically different, and we all have different days. So some days you're working out more, some days you're more sedentary. So you want to go low carbs for what works for your body. Typically, they say when you're first getting started to try to get your carbs really low so you can really train your body to use fat for energy. And then you can start slowly upping it and see what works for you. Some people can get away with more carbohydrates than other people, so it really depends on how insulin sensitive you are. So the difference between net carbs and total carbs. So when you're looking at the side of a box or can or anything, you'll see that it just kind of lists the total calories, total fat, total protein, and total carbohydrates. So your total carbohydrates is one number. Now, if you're looking at real whole food, which on a ketogenic lifestyle, that's really what we try to focus on. So we shouldn't be eating too many packaged foods that have labels. But I really like MyFitnessPal, so you can enter your whole food in there, and it will tell you what amount of carbohydrates are in that food. So those are your total carbohydrates. Net carbohydrates is when you subtract the fiber. So underneath the carbohydrates, you'll see the fiber, and so you subtract that from carbohydrates. And so the reason why we subtract fiber from carbohydrates to get net carbs is because your body can't digest fiber. So it helps to slow down those carbohydrates. And it's more like, I mean, fiber is so good for you. It's more like a broom, like it kind of cleans out and, you know, sweeps everything out the colon, and out she goes. So it's really, really good for you. So that's why sometimes you'll watch some keto doctors and they actually don't count any carbohydrates in vegetables because there's so many fiber. So that's why they don't. So they might say use total carbs, but don't count vegetables, the carbs in your vegetables. And then other people will use net carbs. The reason why it can get a slippery slope on counting net carbs is if you start going to packaged foods and subtracting off the fiber. Because as we, the industrialized world, as we get more and more plants making, like industrial plants making food, they have found ways to make molecules of fiber. Like they might take corn and reduce it down and make like a corn fiber, but that will still spike your insulin. It's not the same as fiber found in whole foods and whole vegetables. So when Mother Nature makes it, so like avocado, if you look at it, there is quite a bit of carbs in there, but there's a ton of fiber. So, and I mean, there's really good healthy fats. There's a lot of potassium, magnesium. So it's a staple in my diet. I do try to eat a half an avocado every single day. So those types of carbs are good. But if you start looking at like the Atkins bars or any of those, they have added different types of fiber to it, just so that if you're counting net carbs, and it really just plays with it, because you think you're only having maybe 4 or 5 carbs in that bar because of the amount of net carbs, but in all reality, you're having way more than that. So I would do net carbs for vegetables and all those things, but if it's a packaged food, I might divide like half the fiber. So if it says that there's 10 fiber in it, I might only subtract 5, because you really don't know the quality of that fiber. And companies are getting really, really smart. They know that people are trying to go low carb, and they know that people will subtract the fiber. So they're putting in really poor quality, not good fibers. So those aren't going to work. So in a ketogenic diet, you really should be eating, at least like minimum 4 or 5 cups of greens a day, and then lots of vegetables. One way that you can really make sure that you're keeping your carbs low is to eat your vegetables raw. So if you look at the glycemic index of, say, broccoli, if you eat it raw, it's got a much lower glycemic index than when it's cooked. So when it's cooked, it just makes it easier to digest. So then those fibers are broken down. So then you're uptaking those carbs more. So that's where it kind of gets tricky, the difference between net carbs and total carbs. My personal recommendation is to do one set of numbers. So a lot of people, I would just say, start with either 50 total carbs or 20 net carbs, but pick one or the other. Do that for a few weeks, see how it works. If you're not getting the results you want, then play with it, switch it up. But honestly, the more whole foods you eat, the better. You're going to have all those good fibers, and you're not going to have to worry about what the companies put in it, because Mother Nature's made it. So I don't know. I think that's really the difference between net fibers and total fibers. But go with net carbs and total carbs. So go with one or the other. Pick a number. And at the very beginning, maybe go and track it, like use MyFitnessPal or use Carb Manager, pick an app, and once you get used to it after a couple days, as I've stated in some of my other videos, my recommendation is the night before is to enter the food you're going to eat the next day, because then you can see if it's hitting the macros that you want. So for the ketogenic lifestyle, we do really recommend going high healthy fats, so the avocados, coconut oils, those types of things, low carbohydrates, and we just discussed the types of carbs, and moderate protein. Start with a set of macros, see how they're working, and then you can play with it one way or the other. But as always, it's not all about your macros. You have to hydrate, electrolytes, stress, sleep. There's so many other things going on. So you do need to be patient. You do need to make sure you educate yourself. I am going to try to do videos on a lot of the different topics. Hopefully I can make it simple and easy to understand, and get you into a state of ketosis and get you the better health that you're looking for. As always, you can comment below, share with any friends or family, and keto on.